Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of 5 Minutes in Coffee. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of 5 Minutes in Coffee. Today, I want to discuss two common phrases that we use as Christians that we may not be aware of what we're actually saying. And because we're not aware of what we're saying, these phrases actually become pretty dangerous when it comes to our walk in Christ. In discussing these two phrases, it is not my intention to judge anyone. It is simply to highlight an ongoing issue that, if it persists, can derail your Christian walk. What are these two phrases? You've heard them before. The two phrases are, God knows my heart and God will understand. What do these two phrases mean that there's a problem? In itself, these phrases are pretty harmless. God knows my heart. It means that God knows the matters of my heart. He knows what's going on within me and why I operate the way I do. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. What about God will understand? Well, of course, God understands all things. He knows all things. So then what's the problem if these phrases mean exactly as I described them? And the problem isn't what the phrases mean. The problem is how these phrases are often used. And most of the time, at least in my hearing, when I hear these phrases, it's so that someone can excuse their behavior, such as doing something contrary to God's will and saying, God knows my heart, or God will understand. For instance, let's say today I got into it with someone and I berated them. I belittled them and I was just as nasty as I could be. And then as I relayed this story to a friend, I say, you know, I really went off on someone today, but God knows my heart. In this situation, yes, it is true that God knows my heart. Perhaps this is the first time I've ever allowed myself to get upset, and I've always walked the best that I could. And today, for whatever reason, this individual really got under my skin, and I had to tell God I'm sorry. Or this is a habit of mine where I consistently get into it with others and consistently belittle them and berate them, and then I excuse myself by saying things such as, God knows my heart. That is where the danger is. It's the ability to continue to do something and then excuse it by saying, God knows my heart, as if this saying excuses us because God knows my heart, I can do X, Y, and Z. Whereas it should be, I am striving for X, Y, and Z. God knows my heart, and not only does He know my heart, I'm also looking to make the changes that God desires to see. And it's the same thing along the lines of God will understand. Today, for the umpteenth time in a row, I'm not going to church. God will understand. Today, I'm not going to do His will because He will understand. I'm just not with it today. And don't get me wrong, there will be days where you are just not with it. Perhaps you are not feeling well. Perhaps things are just not going the way you want them to, and you really need to step back and take a break. Yes, God will understand. But if every time it is time for you to do something that God calls you to do, you walk away from it and say, God will understand, then what action do you have to show Him to show that you are genuinely following His love and His will for your life? Again, it is not my intention to judge anyone because we are all imperfect. I, for one, know that I may be the most imperfect of you all. However, as brothers and sisters in Christ, it is my desire that we walk in unity with God so that we don't lose our salvation by simply excusing our behavior and taking the wide path instead of the narrow path which we are called to walk. I want to be sure that we are all doing our very best to be lights in this world. I don't know if you've been paying attention lately, but this world needs a light, and it needs many lights. Be the light of this world and show His love. This is Jerry with 5 Minutes in Coffee.